All right, well, congratulations. How are you feeling after that fight?
I feel good. Yeah, I'm happy, and yeah, I'm proud of my performance.
I know we spoke before, and you kind of said you thought you'd have to go 3 rounds with him. Was it the fight you expected?
Yeah, if I'm gonna be honest, I did truly believe that I was gonna get the finish in that fight. Leading into the fight, I believed that. And even during the fight, I was hitting with some big shots. I was doing the damage. And yeah, I believed until I maybe heard about 30 seconds left that, and up until that point, I still believed that I was going to find a finish. I didn't, but I see now why he's 20 fights in Bellator and has yet to be finished.
Why is that?
He's tough. He's literally what I said, is a hard-nosed Mexican-style fighter, and he's going to be there until the fight is over. And he was. He was throwing, little pitter-patter elbows and punches when the 10-second clocker went off, to be expected.
Was there anything about him that surprised you?
His toughness, yeah. I pride myself on being strong, explosive, and accurate. I was all of those things, and he withstood it.
You spoke about going in there and fighting, a veteran of Bellator. Do you feel like that was your biggest test to date?
Yeah, for sure. The guy's got, after tonight, 29 fights. I'm at 8. Going into it, he was 20-8. I was 7-0. He has 4 times the amount of fights I have. That's more fights than all of my past opponents probably combined. The guy's a really good fighter. He's done a lot of good things in the sport, but I believe that in his best year, whether that was this year or not, he still would have got second place to me.
How much did the late start affect you backstage?
It didn't. When it didn't start on time, I looked at my coaches and I was like, hey, let's start touching. I just had a feeling that some people were going to get moved to swing bouts. I was hoping that wasn't going to be me. So when it was about 5:20 and things did not get started, I told the commission, let me get my gloves. And I just started hitting. Broke a good sweat. And then, 5:30, 5:45 came, relaxed a little bit. And then they came back and told me and said, hey, can you fight in a fight or two? And I was like, let's go.
So you wouldn't say that affects you mentally? Not knowing exactly when you're going to fight?
Ideally, no, I would have been the 5th fight. Ideally, I would have been able to chill a little bit and then, 4 fights bang out and then I fight. But he was in the same situation that I was in backstage. And if he could do it, then I can do it. And I met him in the cage.
Did you guys speak at all after the fight?
When the 10-second clocker went off, I think he was trying to land little punches. I grabbed onto his head and told him, good job, Manny. And then when we shook hands in the center, I think he said something along the lines of, he'll see me again or something. But, maybe he means out at the bar or something, because we'll see.
He had you in a choke at one point. How tight was that? It
wasn't at all. Yeah, I blew a nice double leg, bounced off the cage. He jumped straight onto a guillotine. It wasn't tight at all, but it definitely was something to be a little scared of. If I made the wrong decision, like my first initial decision or thought was to try and slam my way out of it, because I like to do those kinds of things, and I had to fight that urge a little bit because that probably would have made it tighter. So it wasn't tight at all, but definitely was something that I had to be respectful of.
And last question, when do you want to get back in there?
Oh, man. I had back-to-back camps 4 weeks ago to the day I introduced my second child. Right in the middle of my camp, I had my second baby boy. It's been very busy for me, so I would like to take a little bit of time off and enjoy dad life and really get a bond with my second son, as I haven't been able to really do so in the midst of this camp. So maybe late this year, October, November, or if a certain Irish lad in September needs a dance partner, they can get me out for that one.
Congrats on another dominant victory. Sadly, the finish streak is over. Is there any sort of bittersweet feeling?
Yeah, of course. I pride myself being a finisher. I want to finish everybody. I'm an exciting fighter through and through. I definitely wanted the finish. You go to any interview, I said beforehand, I believed I was going to get the finish. Again, like I said, up until about 30 seconds left in that fight, I still believed I was going to get the finish. I didn't get the finish. I'm proud of myself regardless. It was a dominant win. I don't know which judge said I lost the round, but I don't believe I lost the round.
It looked like you had both the power and speed advantage on the feet, and that blast double looked unstoppable. Yeah. Where did you want this fight to play out?
Exactly how it did. I knew that I would be able to take him down. I would take him down. And I knew that I would land the harder, stronger, faster strikes. So the fight played out as planned. Just wished that, not wished, I just believed I would have got the finish.
Congrats. Great performance.
Thank you, man.
Archie, congrats. You mentioned media day and tonight, just the vast difference and gap between the amount of fights you've had and the amount of fights he's had. Yeah. What, if anything, besides your great performance, can you take away from sharing a cage with someone who has had 4 times the amount of fights?
Well, I'll have to go back and I'll watch the fight, but there was at least 2 or 3 times where I had him hurt, like legitimately hurt. Like I hit him with a couple of shots. He stumbled backwards. His eyes looked a little funny, and I was like, oh man, this guy's hurt. And that was probably once at least in every round. And that's where the veteran, like, that's where it came in. Like, other guys probably would have cowered and backed up, and he bit down and continued to fight. So I give him his respect out of that. You know, that's kind of where I believe I saw the biggest difference between him and prior opponents.
I know you mentioned, obviously, you know, him keeping his composure. Credit to you. I know you said the choke wasn't that scary, but he was motioning to the crowd, sticking his tongue out, got the crowd finally awake here tonight. Yeah. But how are you able to keep your composure, you know, in that moment and throughout? Because like you said, one mistake and things could have gotten different.
Yeah, I didn't know what he was doing. I definitely knew he was doing something up there. I was down there fighting hands, and I could feel his body motions as if he was doing something, and I heard the crowd kind of going for it. So I knew he was doing something. Personally, probably should have been more focused on trying to choke my ass instead of and try to get the crowd involved. But, you know, props to him. Yeah, composure is one of the things I also pride myself a lot on. I've been a competitor since I've known life. Like 4 years old is when I started wrestling. I literally don't know life without competing. I don't. I can't remember a day before 4 years old. Right? So as long as I can remember life and being on this earth, I remember competing. And composure goes a long ways. I found my composure in every situation. He hit me with an up kick. I felt composed. He rushed in. I rocked him. He jumped on a guillotine. I stayed standing, found my composure. He was landing little pitter patters from the bottom. I stayed composed, found my shots. I'm a composed man. Showed that tonight. And yeah, I hold that quality very near and dear to my heart, being composed.
Well, congrats and happy Father's Day.
Thank you, sir.